in writing that a material change in the situation justifies its action of interest and interest of the public as well as the petitioners. So I just wanted you to understand that.
Attorney Flynn, comfortable?
Well, I'm not comfortable because I don't have it in front of me. You know, there's one, I agree with someone said the intent of the original permit was to have a buffer between the mulching operation and the neighboring property.
Correct.
And I hope that that's where we are with respect to whether or not that buffer, if he was to gain another 50 feet, whether or not the plantings, if that's the right word, or the additional plantings in 25 feet would be the closest to the adjoining property. And I hope that's what it says. I don't have to,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't.
In my opinion, the plantings don't get you anything.
How about if it said seeded to establish grass cover, a suitable natural vegetative buffer or evergreen plantings, 6 foot minimum height every 25 feet on center. So if it's in a portion of the property that has suitable natural vegetation that's there, then that could be maintained. For example, if there were rows of existing evergreen trees or other suitable trees.
Right.
And that would be a decision that the commission would make upon the site plan approval, whether that was suitable vegetation that were there. So I think that would cover, in his case, the abutting property line, which is located further to the east, which is a significant amount of cornfield that might go for 1,000 feet, and then there's some natural woodlands in that area there that would be considered.
Right, so that's already established.
That would be a natural. So I mean, I think that simple modification would meet the intent of what is proposed here, just clarifying what those plantings are, because that's what the regulation.
Does that cornfield meet the definition of a buffer?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
It's,
No,
well, it's 1,000 feet, right, the agricultural.
It's not.
No, the
See,
cornfield
us
is
using it
between,
as agricultural, so there's a fine line of what he's allowed
It
to
meets the
do.
definition of buffer in the sense that there are plantings there, but they're plantings that are not, that don't remain there.
Right, but so
in that
the
sense-
ryegrass doesn't either. The ryegrass grows,
Right.
he mulches it in and it reseeds and grows. It's established grass, but it's not a living, breathing thing. It goes fallow in the winter and then it reestablishes in the
Right, so
spring.
the buffer changes.
Right.
The effect of that buffer changes, essentially.
So when the corn is harvested, it turns into ryegrass, and so it's more of a seasonal grasses or whatever. I mean, corn is basically a grass, but it's, you know, now you're getting into the,
Mr. Chairman, can I give you my take on this?
Sure.
We've been at this for an hour and a half. It seems to me that the applicant came in for a text amendment, and that we sent it to CROG, and we got some response from CROG, and I think that we should consider what CROG said, and that is that the proposed reduction in the site buffering site appears to be significant for the use and may lead to adverse off-site impacts. And also, I think we have to consider that the amendment will promote the public's, not an individual, but the public's health, safety, and general welfare. Mr. Dearborn has an operation that's impeccable. There's no question about it. Hardworking gentleman, he's done a lot for the town, very generous gentleman. But I think we have to consider, in my humble opinion, and I'm not a voting member today, I think we have to consider the text, that we're talking about a text amendment. We're not talking about planting trees. We're not talking about anything else, whether corn is a cover crop or whether it's living or dead or whatnot. I think we have to consider what we're after is a text amendment. And I think CROG's input and the general public's health, safety, and general welfare, I think is a big consideration, in my opinion.
So, what are we going to do? I know what I want to do. I'd like to close the public hearing, and I'd like to take a vote based on the language that was in the filed. I see a nod, a couple nods.
Is there a way that we can put this on the site plan? That we can just say that provided a buffer is established that meets, you know, and kind of put it on the site plan approval to a point that, you know,
Not if it's not in the regulations.
they're saying that an accepted buffer.
So
You
what's,
have to
it gets to-
clarify it in the regulations before you can.
the applicant would not be required to do anything. So what happened, let's say the text amendment is approved as is, they would have to come in for site plan approval to show the area of activity. That's just revision to the drawings under no obligation to do anything else. That's it. If they want to be generous and provide plantings or berms or whatever, we can consider that, but not required.
But we can't write a text amendment
We
saying that they
cannot.
would have to satisfy
No,
our site
no,
plan
no, no.
requirements. Okay.
Not at this time.
How about establish grass cover and suitable vegetative plantings?
I don't think that's the issue. I think that's where the plantings are gonna have to go.
What we have
Versus,
in the
you know,
25-foot
are they
circle.
adjacent properties? Are they along the road? Are they along outside of the mulching area?
Joe, it seems to me you have a proposal on the table that,
I do, I just want to give, I don't want to be accused or say, well, we didn't think about all possible options here.
So I'm looking for a lousy 50 feet.
Wouldn't suitable vegetative plantings cover that? If it's a natural vegetation that was there, the commission and site plan could determine whether it's suitable or not, and they can make a determination.
In my opinion, it doesn't make a difference with the vegetative, I don't care what it is. To me, the issue is 50 feet, 50 feet were nothing. Simple to me. I have my own, based on the evidence and data that I heard, I have something in mind how I'm going to vote. I think I have all the information I need to make an informed decision. That's just speaking for myself.
On the table, let's vote.
Could be daisies, could be tulips. It didn't matter, it won't matter to me. Yep. Final chance before we close the public hearing. Any final comments? Attorney Alter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any final comments?
No, sir.
Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
There's a motion on the table to close the public hearing. Is there a second? Oh, there was a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. You ready to take action on this one? Okay. So in accordance with our regulations, we need a supermajority, 4 out of 5, for a text amendment in order to be successful. And we're also required to state the reasons why we voted for or against the proposed text amendment. So be prepared to provide some sort of answer. Okay, with that, entertain a motion for approval. Or some motion. Always start in the positive. Motion for
Positive.
Motion to approve the application of Newbury Road Enterprises LLC proposing a text amendment to modify section 816.1.B.3 of East Windsor regulations to reduce the stated 100-foot landscape buffer between abutting properties to 50 feet.
There's a motion on the table to revise the regulations of the landscape buffer. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Those in favor, vote, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
2 ayes, 3 nays. So the motion is defeated. I voted for the proposed text amendment. In my opinion, I personally did not see where it would be a hardship or a detriment to the budding property owners. Personally, I think that the original the buffer was established kind of in line with something, a similar use. We didn't have any experience at the time. I think the 100 feet, which is an arbitrary number for the earth excavation activities. I certainly would have a difference of opinion if this had budded in a different type of zone, but not in this particular case. So that's why I couldn't find it to be a detriment to adjoining property owners.
I voted no, in that in this particular case, it does not really harm any other property owners. But again, it was for all of the M1 zones, and many of those zones have residential properties and many other different properties. Okay, they aren't just industrial to industrial. And I just think that there is another way to present this extra 50 feet without a text amendment.
I voted in favor for all the reasons Joe said, and also just because across the town I don't see a reason not to use certain sections of property just because you need a buffer.
I voted no. I thought it was too site specific for the text amendment change for the whole town. Also, if you wanted to, you could take a couple acres of land from the other side if you had to, and go that route. So that's why I voted no.
And I voted no because I didn't think it was very well defined exactly on how this buffer would have been established, and it didn't take into account screening for butters.
Thank you. As announced earlier, the next public hearing, North Road Materials LLC, will not be heard tonight. That's postponed to August 14th. Under our business meeting, Lori, any of these items that you would like to discuss?
There's really no updates on anything. We did meet with the TOD Smart Road grant, with the people from OPM, and I think that it's really, the ball is in our court to start that project, to get it rolling. I'm not so sure how much time Matt's going to have in the next few weeks to do that.
Is there a cutoff date where the application, where information needs to be submitted to OPM for, is there a critical path so we don't lose this opportunity?
I don't think so, but I think we just need to start moving. I mean, we just met, I think, 3 weeks ago or something. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, so.
So obviously Matt's going to need to prioritize, and it may be a shame to lose this grant opportunity.
I am not going to lose this grant.
He's excited about it. He's like all jazzed about it.
Okay, okay.
So, you know, zoning compliance, it is what it is. I mean, same old, same old. Aquifer protection regs, we still need to do that, and Matt needs to finish doing that training, and I never even started it, so. And that's it.
Okay.
And we just have an executive session.
Okay. So we're going to go into executive session, so I'll give you an opportunity. Yep. Okay, if you want, you can.
I wish you all were on your meetings. You're drinking.
Me too.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion to go into an executive session.
If they had done it just.
Make a motion to go